Okay, here we have an underground, above ground underground. It's only got about 2 feet below the surface, but based off the back of the hill, you can see there's about a 15-foot drop to the low part of the land. And I was uncomfortable building this completely underground, so what we did a mound system. So there's about 4 feet on top of the structure of dirt, and it slopes off gradually over the edge, kind of like a mushroom type feel. It looks really good. It worked out really nice. And I'm going to be jumping around here. I just went out here today since 2010, there has been, this place has been occupied since then. So we're looking at 2023 right now. So that's like whatever many years that is, 13 years. There's a front door entryway, got some power coming in from the generator system over here. And they got a little hand pump well there. And but the whole structure is self-contained. I mean, you can run without the generator because then there's the pipes that go around the building to get rid of any water that goes around the structure, comes out of those pipes. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that big black vent that I point at. That's actually an air intake. So that air intake is a 12-inch pipe. It's about 20 feet long. It comes in on the side of the structure. You can see it right there on the left. And here's a shot of the structure before we put the second layer of shotcrete on it. There was some rebar on there. And then we walk. There's a generator system there. And then we're going to walk into the structure, I believe, right now. I'm walking up to it. This door weighed about 800 pounds. It was very heavy. We had to put it in there before we shotcreted, so you can. And then here's a shot of right when it was being built. And this is after the fact. When I showed up, you can see all of the latch. You can see the latch I showed here on how that door operates. And then you'll see some other contents in the front entryway here, which are. Here's a shot before they loaded the shelves. This is back in 2010 when I just did it, after I built the shelves. So, and then in a second here, you're gonna see it loaded with all the stuff they have in there now. And we've got the big 8-foot door you walk through, the big wooden door that I usually build and put on every one of them. There's a staircase going upstairs. We got the back room there. Got the kitchen on the left side here. And like I said, that this place has been occupied for 13 years, every day by 2 people. And this structure is actually built with 4 bedrooms in it, and it's about 28 feet wide by 30 feet long only. There's a little walkway. It's like a pantry that walks into the furthest far right-hand bedroom. Bedrooms are about 8 foot by 6 feet, something like that. They're quite small, but they just have a bunk in it, and then under the bed storage for stuff, and a bit of other storage. I always show the ventilation going up through here. That shows how the ventilation comes up, and I love the structure for that reason. These Quonset huts allow for a lot of movement of air. And then underneath all the doors, and you can see there, all the doors I leave about 1 inch off the ground so that the air can easily flow through the bedroom floors, and the air circulates and sucks up through the ventilation on the front side, goes up and escapes out near the escape hatch at the top, which I will show you in a minute. I was just showing the door. This is like 7'8" door or something like that. And what else we got here? We got, that's a pipe that ventilates that fridge, goes out through into the hallway there. And then there's actually that little round window you see there. Oh yeah, first let's talk about the ventilation. Here, see that bag there? I put that on there so you can see the airflow. It shows it moving whenever the convection of the hot air upstairs, and what happens is it's warmer upstairs, which creates a vacuum effect, and it wants to escape out the top vent because it opens up and pulls the air through the lower vent. And it's continuous, it's all the time. It's always moving air through there. And the plate there, you can see that there. We got, there's a ventilation again, and it smells really fresh in there all the time. And it's not cold. Even if it's cold outside, the structure still remains about 60 degrees inside. And there's really no need to have it warmer than that. You could do more. See, I put a pocket door where the bathroom goes. It's got a little toilet and a shower in there. And for obvious reasons, you can tell why I put that door there. So it didn't incriminate on your passway through there. There's a shower stall there. Everything's been holding up really good. The doors hold up real good. Everything's operating totally the same way I did it back then. A lot of good decisions made back in those days and this was the first one. The very first underground structure I built like this. I built other ones a different style, but it wasn't until this one where I did the first Quonset hut. And the reason I did that was I was trying to find a simpler, quicker, and less expensive way of building a concrete structure. And then I came up with this and went through the process of planning and connecting with the engineer and finding out how we could do this structure. And this structure actually has rebar on it, where all my other structures after this one is done with Helix steel. And I think I drop a picture of the Helix steel because that's the way I would do all of them. Is you put basically the Quonset hut together, and then you spray foam it, and then you shotcrete the Helix steel mixed into the concrete on there. There's some more ventilation coming up through the back wall in the bedroom. And it makes for a very affordable structure, and it can be done very quickly. In fact, we did one in a rush, and it took a month only to do it by the time I was ready for burying. But I usually wait 30 days before I bury because I want the concrete to cure for at least that long before I bury them. This one had a skylight in it. I'm going to show you the outside skylight in a bit, how I made that, and it's never leaked. So some really good ideas in there on how to make that happen. We got, what am I going to do here now? I'm just watching these videos that I took today or the other day, collaborated a bunch together. And so I might be repeating myself here and there, but I'm just narrating this video right now. There's that skylight there. It works great, that skylight, man. Really lightens the place up. You get, with living in there, you want to have a feel that you can see the sun coming up and seeing the light of day come through the place, which is a very big benefit of having a skylight in one of these structures. Obviously one that's super heavy duty, non-penetrable, stuff like that. And of course doesn't leak. This is looking out. I think I'm gonna walk outside here in a minute. I look at that, yeah, I'm kind of showing that door again. Like I was mentioning, that door was, there's this vent pipe for the on-demand water heater there. You can see right on the inside. All of the equipment is in the front entryway in this one. So we got that there. I got a vent above it. You can see the little white vent up there that I'm pointing at, and then it has on the outside, it has the same thing. So you can crank that open a bit, just to allow for some extra air to circulate in that front entry room. And then I also have a lower one there, so I get the same convection thing. It rotates, moves air through there all day long on a very slow, nice, gradual basis, and keeps fresh air in that little structure the whole time. And I think you can see the black pipe all along the bottom there. There's the battery system there too as well. I'm going into that. There's the charging system. The whole module for the solar panels above on the roof outside. And what do we got here? There's that vent pipe that comes in. It's 30 feet long. It hits the structure, takes a 90, comes into the entryway, and then it goes down the hallway of the entryway and opens right into the actual structure area. So that's all fresh air coming in there. And it works out really nice. There's that pipe going right there I mentioned again, what the trajectory of that pipe is. It comes inside here, and you can see it along the bottom there. It comes in all the way, goes through that wall, and I'm going to walk in here right now and show you where it comes in. I jumped around a bit there, dropped a few pictures in here to get a better view of it where I pointed at it. And then here's the guillotine vent. You can move up and down to get the proper airflow. If you find you're getting too much airflow, I just put that on there in case it was really cold out one day and you find it getting too cold inside. But it turns out it never really did that. It still stays at temperature all the time inside, about 60 degrees. And I just advise that they always leave that open all the time to make sure they don't have an airflow problem, you know. Here's another shot of me walking up around the back side of the structure, okay? So realistically, the structure actually sits about 2 feet in the ground on the front side, but the back is butt up against the back of the hill. So there's only like about a 6-foot hump on the back, and then it gets bigger on the front of the structure. So that's the only way I mentioned. It's the only way I would do this structure, because you don't want to have a water problem. It's going to be a big issue. I know a lot of people that built undergrounds and had nothing but water problems, and they're very hard to solve once the thing's backfilled. So if you plan it right and you make sure your water tables are workable and with a lot of leeway, I tend to go, like I said, on the highest part of the land. And I love to have about a 30-foot drop in the land so I can really clear all that water out, you know. So here's the top. This is the actual escape hatch and ventilation that I built on my next ones. I dropped this picture in to show you how I would do it. This is the old way, the one I did. This is the first structure I ever did, and it had the escape hatch on top of the structure. Whereas now I put it on the back of the structure and I hang it off the back wall, so that it has no interaction at all with the structure itself. If anything leaks, if that escape hatch leaks at all, it has its own self-contained area with a vent hole in the bottom of it, so if any condensation gets in, it drains it out. Where this one did have a little leak on the escape hatch, so we did it different on all the other ones. I fixed the leak, but there's the skylight structure I built. Built it out of a couple pipes. I had a guy weld it together, put a little cap on it, put some 1/2-inch thick plexiglass in there with some a rubber ring there, all tightened in from the bottom, and then that whole system sits over top of one of those 12-inch plastic vents that goes right into the structure, and it gets foamed, spray foamed all on it heavily, to make sure there's no way that anything can get in there. And then before I cover, like this is at the very end, before I cover, I've laid a big giant pond liner on top of the whole thing. I put a little bit of dirt on it to get the form down, and then I laid the pond liner over the whole thing and cut a hole where the skylight was and dropped everything, and then that whole giant metal skylight cover drops right over that whole sleeve. Now that little pipe there, that's for plumbing ventilation. So you can get your toilet working properly, your sinks and all that. You always need to have that, like any house, you know. And then here I do a quick shot of the solar panel system that was put in the perfect direction. It turned out that's where the sun is crossing from rising in the east, setting in the west, and it's shining on the hillside. So it was a perfect place to put the solar panels. And there's some batteries and the solar panel system, charging station. It's got 8 very heavy batteries in there, and it totally accommodates them 100%. There's a shot from the solar panels looking at the roof cover entry. And let's see, we got here. Okay, so we got another shot of from the top. They have a couple of storage containers at the top of their place. I think I shoot a little bit over here. They got the underground propane storage on the far left. And actually, I really refined this whole process in the next few structures that I built, where I recommend at least, I love having that 40-foot tunnel that I had on the next ones, because we use that whole 40-foot tunnel for all the food storage, and nothing has to go inside the building at all, the actual building. So in this one, I put that covered area on there because they were going to utilize this structure as basically a house. Really, it's kind of a house, really. It just doesn't have any windows. And I have built them on the sides of hills so you have windows in the front, you know. Little peephole on that door. Lockdown mechanisms. I was pointing out the beginning, the power system, generator. Got a hand pump well there. I might repeat a bit of this stuff on this video because I had a bunch of just mumbo jumbo videos all stuck together, and then I just kind of walking through it right now and talking about it. But it gives you a second look, you know. Anyway. Yeah, it turns out to be a really quite a nice, comfortable place. And the ladies that live there, see, there hasn't been really a problem. There's a construction of it, actually. That is from this one. And we are under construction. And this next shot is going to be the guy spray foaming, okay? And you can see the spray foam on there is quite thick. That green part on there, that's the primer that you use to put on there first, and then you spray foam. This is the Helix steel I was talking about that I put in all the other structures. You mix it right in the concrete. You put like 30 pounds per yard, and it makes no need for rebar. It's not fiber mesh. Here's the support system I use inside that you have to put in before you shotcrete it, because that sucker is heavy. Here's a shot of this one. You can see that front area around the front there on the right side. That's where all the dirt, the retaining wall kind of built into the front of it. Now I think I'm going to jump in here a little bit inside the front of the entryway here. Here we go. So you've got the inside of the structure again. What do we got here? Kitchen, showing the kitchen again. I mean, there's obviously a lot of things I would have done different on this structure, but we were under a very tight budget. They literally did not, I told them that you couldn't build a structure for their budget. And that's when I came up with the Quonset design. It was probably half. It cost half of what a concrete one would, where you just form up the walls and you form up the ceiling and all that kind of stuff. You can imagine there's like 4 months of just forming and rebar and all this stuff. Whereas with the Quonset hut, you pour the foundation, you put up the Quonset hut, you can do all that probably, if you had 3 or 4 guys, you could do all that in a week. And then you're ready for spray foam and shotcrete. So literally you can do this whole structure start to finish in a month, and then do the inside in another month. 2 months you could have it done if you coordinated it right and you had the right land, you had the right contractors involved. Here we got the doors going into the bedrooms. And let's see what else we got here. I always mention I love having the arch top doors. They're so nice. And a simple way to do that, I was using Trex decking, the fascia boards, which are a 1/2 inch thick. And you just rip them to the size you like, and you wrap it around the opening. And there's your opening. And then you just match your door. You hold the door up there and you scribe the door in. You're ready to go. I don't know what that flashing light was all about, but And then I got the same material I use on the doors. I use that up above on the loft area. It's 2x6 tongue and groove spruce. And that's how I do a lot of construction. A lot of guys use that because it makes it finished. It's finished, you know. Other guys will build joists and floor joists and plywood, and then they put, you know, something on the ceiling like sheetrock, but this is way more finished, and it's a beautiful look, and it doesn't hold moisture. It's really nice. So we got, let's see what else we got here. Like I was mentioning earlier, up in the loft area, it's about 4.5 feet up there in the loft. And there's this walking into that first bedroom on the far right. It goes through a little pantry area way here. And I know I'm going to be pointing out the airflow again, because I always make a point of that almost in every video, to show how nice that airflow just moves around that building. No bedroom is left with any stagnant air anytime. It's always moving. And then I'm going to walk up the staircase here. I think I go up here and look into the loft area, and you can see the escape hatch ladder there. You know, you want to have 2 entries and exits basically on a structure like this. And then I walk up there, and I think you'll be able to see the ventilation in the back area. I should be pointing this out. There's behind that fan, they had a fan in there. See, there it is. There's the ventilation there, and right there. So what I did on the next structures is I put 2 vents on the bottom and 2 on the top. And that's what you've seen on that lid. I showed you the escape hatch lid, what I did there to get even more ventilation. So I had a total of 4 guillotine vents that you could manipulate. And I figured more is better. I mean, it's a little bit more money to add it, but at least you have the option to turn all 4 open or have only 2 open, you know, and you can watch your airflow coming in. And there is mechanical ways to advance that and make it even more so. Like you can put a pipe fan in one of those and have it come on if you really want to suck air out of there even quicker. You know, if you feel like you want to have that as an option. I don't think you need it. I've never seen it needed. But there's some people that just do massive amounts of stuff to these undergrounds. Anyway, that's a very short version of this underground. I'll have a couple random pictures in here because I ran out of the movie here, and I'm going to add some pictures just of a few things. And thank you for watching, and keep in touch with us, and you'll see more coming up. And I'll even have Michael put in a couple videos on the construction of this structure. We got a couple of videos of how we did it. Now, I'm just dropping a bunch of pictures from some other UGs, including this one's on there, a couple of pictures. I got a couple Quonset huts put together before they got shotcreted. See the ventilation out the lid there. I got the inside of a dome one, little kitchen thing. And then I got this other one at the very end here of one in a hillside, which was just a square one. Anyway, that's about all for now, folks. Thank you for watching.